Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning to many. Good afternoon to some. Good evening to others. Welcome in for this wonderful Sunday brunch stream. We had a great night last night. We had made some killer poutine. Killer poutine. We had some nice buns, French fries, cheese curds, a savory sirloin gravy. It was fantastic. But you'll have to recap that one, or go check out some of the old socials there. We got ourselves the Twitter, the Discord. You can also just recap the whole thing. It was a great night, far above and beyond what Sunday was, because Sunday was rough. Let me tell you, woof. So today, let's talk about today. Today's what's important. That's what you're here for. Today, we're all about breakfast pizza. We are gonna hand toss our own breakfast pizza this morning. I double checked the recipe. Fits the timeline well for what is usually our shorter streams today. We're gonna do some sausage gravy. I got some Jimmy Dean's. I'd love to do my own sausage, but I don't have a grinder, so we are stuck buying it. We're gonna doctor it up just a little bit. We're gonna throw some fresh garlic in there. It's gonna be a good time. We're also gonna top this bad boy off with some fun toppings. So I was thinking kind of like my favorite omelet mixed in. So we're gonna have sausage gravy. We're gonna add a little bacon. We're gonna do some mushroom and some spinach. Of course, some egg. We're gonna cover it in cheese and then top it off and bake it off with some cheese curds. And then when that's all ready to go, because, you know, we love cheese in this house, I'm actually gonna reheat some of our Cheese Whiz sauce that came from our catastrophe night. That was the good old Philly cheesesteak. Great food, turned out great. It was a train wreck getting there though. So I tried uploading our newest emote. We'll see if it clears before the stream's done. We now have a waffle emote, fries on floor laughing, because we are shameless here at Lumberman Cooking. So without further ado, I guess let's get to it. We have got to start up getting some dough ready. So that's what we got to start off on first. So let's kick us over to that cutting board camera. You can see we got some wonderful new displays up over the last couple days. We did a couple tweaks, took some recommendations from others, and have made this a much nicer stream to look at. Because, you know, you got to stare at my face all day. That's not going to be the best time. So let's make sure you get some pretty things to look at, such as our wonderful borders and our wonderful camera play. Oh, there we go. It finally separated for us. So we're going to take a metal mixing bowl, get our cutting board out of the way here, and get our glass bowl out of there. We're gonna take some bread flour. We're gonna go with a cup of bread flour to start this off. So let's grab out our measuring cups. We're gonna take a cup of bread flour. You're gonna want some instant yeast, 1.5 teaspoons of sugar, 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt, and we're gonna add a variety of seasonings to this as well. So this should be pretty good. All right, let's get that full cup in there right away. This is basically getting all of our dries ready to go. So once we got all of our dries ready, and we're still gonna add in about another cup of flour. We gotta get our sugar and our salt out. Look at me. You would think I prepared for today or something. Not. All right, there we go. Lazy Susan back in place. Been not so lazy this weekend. That thing has put in some work. Lurk. We'll be back in a little bit. UPenn, thank you. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for lurking around. We always appreciate it. All right, so you're gonna need that 1.5 teaspoons of sugar. So let's grab out our teaspoons, not our tablespoons. That'd just be a terrible time. So 1 teaspoon, and where's our half? Let's get that guy going. Like I said, we're just mixing up all of our dries here right now. We'll be adding in some nice warm water. I actually baked the kids some smiley face hash browns this morning, so my oven's nice and warm to help proof this thing. Not hot, but thank you, it's at least warm. So let's get you out of the way, big dog, and hop in for some salt. There we go, iodized salt. And we're gonna need 3/4 of a teaspoon of that. So we're gonna go 1/2 teaspoon first. Just get some of that in there. And then we're gonna go 1/4 teaspoon next because math. Ah, Well, we probably don't need all of that now since we dumped in most of it. All right, we'll dump you back in. I mean, a little extra salt in your crust isn't bad, right? Why not? So if you guys have watched before, you know I am not an avid baker. We've been trying the last couple days. In fact, you could say this was a baking stream the last couple days, the way we were moving around. We tried buns on Friday that turned out terrible. And then we tried out buns again last night and they turned out phenomenal. And we're gonna try pizza crust today and hope the result is the same as last night and just be wonderful. So we've got all of that in there. Now we need our yeast. So I've got some instant yeast in here. We might as well pull out our garlic. We're gonna need that today. So let's crack this bad boy open. Now you can always do active yeast as well and just proof it ahead of time. You'll want to put it in the water nice and warm and let it sit for a few minutes to activate. But the instant yeast is just as good. It works really quickly. I know this is my preferred method, and it's just because I don't know baking well enough to say, hey, this is the inferior yeast choice. I do have buddies that have their own starters and whatnot, sourdough starters, which maybe one day we'll build a starter for the stream. But he's got a good sourdough starter, and he swears by sourdough for his pizza, which I believe him. I haven't had to see or taste it yet, but one of the pictures I see that he posts up looks so good. Looks so good. So we've got our trash bucket ready to go over here. Now we've got that all together. We'll just give that a little whip around. And the next couple things, we are going to need a 3/4 of a cup of warm water. And I learned yesterday that my sink's warm is, or my sink's hot is actually pretty warm. So we're just going to let that water run a little bit, get nice and warmed up. And we're going to go 3/4 of a cup there. We're also going to need 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And I've got some extra virgin olive oil here. Let's get that guy going too. So 2 tablespoons of you. And we're going to do this over the trash bowl so I don't leak oil everywhere. That actually worked too well, so I'm not as scared anymore. I always leave the cap partially in on my olive oil there, and that way it doesn't just like pop out at you the whole time when you're trying to pour it. You get an opportunity to actually let it just do its thing and drizzle out. So we got some nice hot water coming out. We're gonna go ahead and get that 3/4 of a cup and dump that on in and get our wooden spoon out to start mixing her in. Make sure we're good and warm there. Now you don't wanna have overly hot water. The range is like 105 to 115 degrees. Anything beyond that and you actually risk killing the yeast. So I'm just happy that I have terribly warm water instead of terribly hot water. So we're gonna just get ourselves, like I said, 3/4 of a cup here. Almost on the nuggets. Exactly on the nuggets. Gosh, we're starting off on the right foot today, guys. This is a good sign. This is a good sign. Hopefully it doesn't go downhill and that's the last good thing we have. We're also gonna get 1 more cup of flour ready because this is gonna integrate in to help us slack up the dough. So we're gonna get him just ready to go on the side, and we can put away our flour, and let's drizzle on in some nice warm water. And this should make us about a 12-inch pizza. So we're gonna just start moving this guy around, getting it all integrated together. And after last night, I'm not as afraid of dough as I was before. I'm starting to understand it a little better and starting to pick up on how this stuff works, which is really awesome because I have always been desperately afraid of baking. It is just it's a science, really, when it comes to like the kitchen. Baking to me is not, I don't know. Cooking, I can be willy-nilly. I can do what I want. I can add what I want, all that good stuff. With this, it's not the case. I don't know. I don't feel as comfortable about it. I don't know I don't know the chemistry behind it. So for me, baking has always been like, follow the cookbook, don't screw around with it, don't mess it up, all those things. So like here, I'm using all this bread flour, and this is supposed to be slacking and pulling away, and I already feel like it's not. I already feel like I've screwed up our dough, but it's not. It's not screwed up. I just got to keep integrating it and keep working it. So we'll end up proofing this for about a half hour, and that'll end up being enough time for us to do up the bacon, do up the eggs, get our sausage gravy, get our vegetables cut up, get our cheese grated. We're gonna do, I didn't have any fresh mozzarella, so we are gonna use the good old store-bought stuff. But we do have some fresh cheddar, and we have some Oaxaca cheese, waka, that we are gonna grind, or we're gonna grate up pretty good. And that's gonna give us some good flavor and some good cheese pull. Oaxaca cheese, for those that don't know, is basically like the, that's Mexican mozzarella. That's the best way I can put it. So we're gonna add in the last bit of flour there, and pray, everyone, pray to whatever God you believe in that we are going to have pizza dough by the end of this. And while we're going, I should have actually added some seasonings to this. I'm gonna do that real quick. My wife is a huge fan of a certain seasoning that we're gonna try and find and pull out here. It's in here, I saw it yesterday. I just have to figure out where it went. So if you guys don't know, there it is. My wife, or my kids, love Little Caesars. Ooh, busting out. So we have Zap Pack. The Zap Pack in a shaker, ready to go. The same stuff they put in the pizza boxes. My wife loves this stuff. So we're gonna just put in a little shake of that into the dough as well. It's gonna add a little bit of flavor to the dough. And that's her preference, not mine. But at the end of the day, Mama gets what Mama wants. And we're gonna start getting our hands in here, and we're gonna just kind of work this dough a little more, get the flour all mixed in. I found this worked for me last night. We worked the dough into this as it was proof, so that it could proof properly. And when we're done, we're gonna end up actually having, so it's slack, you know, it didn't slack up on us, but we got a good mixture going on. We're just gonna kind of get all of this pulled in and get the flour all integrated together. This is probably not the right way to do this, so don't look at me as like an authority on baking. That is not my forte at all. I would say actually, on a scale of 1 to 10, my comfortability with baking is like a -13. But last night gave me a bunch of false confidence, so I was like, you know what, we're gonna do it again. We're gonna try it harder, and we're gonna double down, and we're gonna make our own pizza dough. So with any luck, like I said, this will turn out just fine. And I'm over here just kind of beating up this dough. So you know what, guys, we're gonna do it. We're gonna add a little bit more warm water. I feel like I shouldn't, but I'm going to. It just doesn't feel right. And we're probably gonna just go another cup in there. And I don't know, I feel like some of these recipes sometimes when I read them aren't exactly the best, and I wanna make sure that's actually nice and hot water, because that screwed me before. I don't know, I feel like some of these recipes when I try them out, like humidity is everything when it comes to baking, I found out. Like you can actually have really, a different humidity will take on a whole different way when it's mixing up your doughs. Humidity, I guess, is everything. So I'm gonna trust in that we're just in a dry state here. And we're just gonna continue to mix up our dough. So we added in about another, I would say, not even a quarter. Well, maybe, yeah, probably about 2 ounces of water, quarter cup. And this is reacting a lot better. It's a stickier dough already. And that's what we want. I know it's supposed to be a stickier dough because the oil is what's gonna give it its elasticity as it sits and waits. So we're gonna add in just a little bit more, not a ton, probably another ounce or two, and just continue to mix that in. Because it's supposed to slack, right? Which means it should be pulling away from the bowl, which means if it already pulled away and it's not sticking to anything, then There we go. That's the consistency we want. So you can see in here, it's kind of got more of a mush now going on. Like I said, the oil is going to help make it more elastic. So, yep, we're right where it's slacking to the bowl. That's what we want. We're going to give a quick wash up and get our bowl ready for proofing. Oh, so let's talk about pizza. I would love to know out there, guys, like I'm not by any means a pizza aficionado, but I would love to know people's favorite pizzas, whether it's brands, whether it's if you're a fast food pizza kind of person, if you know of a certain hot spot that's like your go-to pizza place, please do. I don't know that there is a pizza command right now. I don't know that that's the case, Mr. Rockwell. But there is a menu command, so if you want to post that up, feel free. A little exclamation point menu. You should be able to see what's going on there. So we're going to get our olive oil out, and we are going to go ahead and coat our bowl. We're going to coat it really well because we're actually going to work the dough into it and kind of roll it around. Boom. There's our wonderful menu for today. So we're going to grab our little brush here, and we're just going to work all that oil around the bowl here, up the sides. Also, giant shout out to my wonderful wife, Miss Tiff, who's once again taking care of our sweet children. Last night we had quite the show because both boys were asleep. It was amazing. Morning, everyone. DeBear fan, welcome. Welcome to the show, my man. We're in for pizzas today. I hope you are ready, and I hope you're hungry, because it's going to be a tasty one. So we're going to take our dough, and we're actually going to just do a little bit of flour on the hand so it doesn't stick to us as bad. And we are going to grab out our dough, and we are going to place it right in. And we're going to make sure it gets coated in oil. That's, I guess, the secret here. That's what the recipe called for. So we're going to make sure everything got a little bit of oil on it. And then this has got a proof for about 30 minutes, which is going to give us plenty of time to do everything else we got to do for today. So there's our dough. Words are hard. One more wash up, because we're going to cover it up with some saran wrap. We're going to pop it in. Like I said, the oven got preheated today by my wonderful children who wanted smiley faces and not pizza. So we made some smiley face hash browns, and it was a gem. But what it did for us is it actually allowed me to have a warm oven, not hot, just warm, to be able to throw this in for proofing. So we got our dough together. Let's get you covered up and popped over there. And then we can start on the fun stuff. Don't get me wrong, baking's cool, but I'm terrible at it, so I immediately think that it's also lame. Equal parts lame. All right. So a little plastic wrap around. And let's get you in this nice warm area. And let you just proof. You just sit there. So it's about 12:45 here, my time. So we're gonna let that go for about a half hour and just see what it does. Let's just see. Let's see. We may end up having to make biscuits today. Oh, we'll find out how all this rolls down. Sometimes it rolls downhill, sometimes it rolls uphill. So let's get you tucked away. Let's start dicing up some veggies. That's really the next go of things here. So we are gonna get our veggies chopped up for the pizza. Like I said, we're gonna do a little bit of different stuff when it comes to this. By the way, my just-in-case hoagie buns for the other day, we didn't have to even touch them. Didn't have to touch them. I was pretty proud of that. So let's grab out, we've got mushrooms. We are gonna grab out some spinach. And we gotta dice up some garlic as well, which I already pulled out. So when we do sausage gravy in this house, we love our garlic. That's kind of, that's a big deal for us. My little man says hi to everybody. Say hi, Dewey. So we're gonna get some garlic going for the biscuits and gravy. Like I said, we love, well, biscuits and gravy, the sausage gravy. We love garlic in here in this house. We use a ton of it, so we keep a ton of fresh garlic. I also would say we like to season them down. So we experiment with our sausage gravy around these parts. One of my favorite ones I did was we actually did a, what was it? Oh gosh, cherry whiskey braised. It was cherry whiskey braised into the sausage, garlic. We did a little onion in there, and then some smoky, smoky paprika. Just yes, yes, everything, yes. We'll do another mushroom in there. So mushroom wise, I've got some baby bellas and some button mushrooms. We may chop him out, we'll see. And we're just gonna give these a dry brush. And I've talked about that before on the stream too. Dry brushing is one of my preferred methods when it comes to mushrooms and how they're cleaned. We're gonna be baking these down, so I guess the moisture wouldn't kill it. But when you wash your mushrooms, you inevitably pack moisture into them, and that's what makes them really slimy when you cook them. And some people like that. I personally like a nice firm mushroom when I'm working with any type of cooking of the mushroom. To me, that's, I don't know, I like a good snap to them. I think they pack a lot of good flavor, and when you overcook them, they do tend to just reduce down to nothing. Last night we wanted them for the flavor and not the texture, so we actually diced them up real fine for the poutine gravy, which I can't say enough good things about last night's poutine gravy. That couldn't have gone any better. Turned out phenomenal. Plated great. 10 of 10. Would recommend. Go back, rewatch it. We'll get some. We're gonna have to start jotting down some of these recipes. Maybe one day I'll make a little cookbook for you guys so you can check it all out. But like I said, speaking of pizzas today, is there a preferred pizza you guys have? I know this is an unpopular opinion, especially where I'm from, but I really love me a Chicago deep dish. I will happily drive to any Giordano's and pay any exorbitant amount of money to have a sausage, mushroom, and onion and spinach Giordano's deep dish pizza. That is by far one of life's greatest decadent pizzas that's ever been created. And I know a lot of people will be like, well, that's just a different class of pizza. But golly, I guess that to me is like one of the best pizzas you can have. Second place for sure is going to be a Detroit style deep dish. Because I love that caked on cheese. To me, that is so good. The nice caramelization on the sides. Top it with some crushed tomato. Super, super, super good. And then third place would be your just typical, normal baked pizzas. I would say we visit Little Caesars way too often in this house. Part of that is because my children have the palate of toddlers, which is fitting because they are. But they also do a really good job as far as mellowing that stuff down. So I'm not mad about it. It's one of the few things they eat without question. So, you know, it is what it is. That's okay. That's okay. So we're gonna toss the rest of these back. We just want a few of those mushrooms. We're gonna bust out the knife here. So I'm gonna start on the garlic afterwards, after we're done cutting up some of the spinach and the mushroom. That's just because that garlic is so sticky. And it just ruins my cutting board. So I gotta wash it every time I'm done. And it smells great, but it's just super, super, super sticky stuff. So just giving the knife a little tone here. That's just gonna take off any burred edges, rolled edges, if you will. And we're just gonna start with a couple slices. So we're gonna slice these up reasonably thin, pizza thin. I'd say about an 1/8 inch thick on those. So you can see, here, figuring out the camera view, boom. About a little more, double a blade's width on my cleaver here. And that'll give us enough nice sized pieces. We go through mushrooms in this house like nobody's business. We love them. Put them on everything. I'm sure you've caught on to this. A lot of the things I cook with, we throw mushrooms in. To me, it's just such a good, rich, meaty flavor in mushrooms. You can't get away from them. Can't get away from them. We're gonna just do a couple more slices up here, and then we're actually going to do some slicing on the spinach as well. Now the spinach will reduce down itself and kind of, I guess, welt on itself in the oven, which is fine. But we are going to give it a chiffonade cut. Why, hello! I'm a cloudy heart in the sky. Welcome to the stream. We are making breakfast pizza. Thank you for joining us. Good old brunch over here. That's what we're excited about. But we're going to end up doing a chiffonade cut on the spinach. I'll show you exactly what that is. I may not be able to pronounce it, but I can do it well. So we're going to try that out. Let's get our spinach out. So we got some baby spinach. And so to do that chiffonade cut, you know what? Rockwell, hit me with, I think it's exclamation cuts. It should actually give us a breakdown and give you the command for those cuts as well. So we're just gonna layer in some of our spinach. We're gonna go like 5 or 6 of these at a time. And just layer those on in. Now, when we do that, we're actually gonna end up rolling these together. And then just slicing those nice and thin. And then when it unrolls, you have a nice long cut of kind of the shredded spinach look. So we're going to do that to a couple more pieces here and get us a nice bank of spinach for our pizza, which I think is going to complement really well. Plus, we got to be healthy in this house. We've done so much heavy duty grease in the last couple days between French fries and cheese curds, and I say that like this pizza is not going to be loaded down with a bunch of dairy and grease as well, but it's still, you know, adds some healthiness to it with the spinach. But we picked up some fresh baby spinach the other day, and I was excited to throw this on there. One of my, like I said, favorite pizzas is a spinach, sausage, onion, and mushroom pizza, especially in a deep dish. So good. Hey, buddy. So once again, super big thank you to my wife, Miss Tiff, taking care of the kids this morning for us as we go ahead and bring you guys some delicious food. So once again, that chiffonade cut, you can see we get a really nice thin slice of the spinach. So that's just a matter of, like I said, taking some, rolling it up, and then giving it some nice thin slices. So we're gonna go for one more round of those. And then we're going to do our garlic and start getting our, we'll really start getting our gravy going. That'll be the good stuff. So we got another thick bunch here. Spinach, we're just going to give that a little roll. How's the fam? They're doing great. They're doing great. The kids are wonderful. We actually, did a little cleaning to the living room this morning. They were wonderful to help out. We found out that we're gonna have to do some mopping tonight. Our living room is also our kids' playroom, so we clean it daily, but those kids know how to trash a room. But they're doing great otherwise. Mama Bear's doing great here. Miss Tiff, she was super excited about last night's stream and got to try out some wonderful poutine bread bowls. So all in all, pretty good. How are you? How are you doing? So we've got ourselves the mushrooms set aside. Let's get our garlic going. Like I said, we can give ourselves the old Palm Hill strike. If you do not watch Mythical Kitchen, you should. It's a blast. A lot of good information out there on different, really unique cooking dishes. So we're just going to give that a little pop. And again, the other one, a little pop. And that should now peel right away. Easy peasy. Because even though violence isn't the answer, it is with garlic. If you beat the garlic, it will come clean out of its shell. And that's exactly what you want. So we're gonna do exactly what we did last night. We're gonna give these a nice mince, which is really just cutting it up as fine as possible, however you gotta do it. So giving that a few slices, and then we're gonna take the root itself and we're gonna toss that aside. That's not good eats. We're just gonna keep slicing those up. Once again, keep your fingers tucked when you're cooking, especially with smaller stuff like this. I know it can be difficult.
but it's better than losing a fingertip. Take you and toss you out too. So we're gonna bring him over, and we're just gonna rock the blade back and forth here and give it a nice chop. And this will mince down our garlic for us. Once again, we refuse to use the slap chop in this house. My wife may have bought it, but it doesn't mean I have to use it. No slap chops, okay? There's no shortcuts in this kitchen when it comes to dicing and slicing. This is how you build those knife skills. You go and get yourself a slap chop, you're never gonna learn to cut. You're just gonna slap chop everything and be like Vince, who I think is in prison. Not because of the slap chop, but I'm sure it didn't help. Sure it didn't help. So one more pass through on the garlic, and then we're gonna get this right away in some butter in the pan. So let's get that heat turned on. We're gonna bring up our pan here, and we are gonna put that on a, I would say, medium heat. You don't wanna overdo it. So what makes a good biscuits and gravy is the fat that gets rendered off of the sausage. So you're gonna use that to build out your roux. Past couple days, you've seen me build out some roux. The fat is your binder to that. So you need the fat in there in order for the flour to bind in and be able to give you the, the thickness you're looking for in your gravy. Now there's some quick ways around that as well. So say you don't add the right amount of flour, it's too thin. You can always use cornstarch. Now, my dad occasionally would have to do that when we would do up, we'd be running the kitchen pretty hot. All of a sudden we'd forget how much we added. You don't want to add more because once it's too thick, you can't back it back out. So we would take our time, but occasionally the gravy would come out thin. And we would like to go through and add some cornstarch. Now, when you do that, make sure you mix your cornstarch with some water first. If you dump it right in your sauce, it will just clump right away. So mix it in with some water, small amount, maybe a teaspoon to start, whisk it up, throw it in there, wait 3 or 4 minutes because it'll take a second for it to react, but then it'll start to thicken up and you can see where you stand from there. So we got our heat on, and I'm gonna go ahead and kick on that good old stovetop camera for you, or at least get it going on the side here. So we're gonna add in a little bit of butter, and we're gonna add in our garlic right away too, but we're gonna let this butter melt down just a touch before we let it do its thing. Now the butter will also add, that's got some good fat into it. That'll add some good richness to our biscuits and gravy. Sausage gravy. Sorry, I keep saying biscuits and gravy. I'm so used to making this for biscuits and gravy. This is the first time I'm really doing it for pizza, which means we're probably going to want to actually have a little bit of a thicker sauce to it. We don't want it super runny. So we're going to pack it in, and we might as well clip the top. So I've got my Jimmy Dean sausage. All right, we went Jimmy Dean's. Like I said, I don't have a grinder or a sausage casing, any of that. So we get that Jimmy Dean's regular. The sage is also pretty good, but we stay away from the spicy in this house. I say that like it's good if you're gonna do some spaghetti and meatballs or spaghetti and meat sauce, but for biscuits and gravy, you're adding a lot of pepper in there to get it to the flavor you want, and that's already gonna turn up heat higher. So I'd say you can definitely try it if you have a spicier flavor that you like, but we stick to regular in this house. So we're just gonna give this end a little snippy poo. Once again, thankful my sweet wife. Every time you hear a screaming child, my wife is running in the background and fixing that. So you guys make sure you thank Miss Tiff for pacifying our sweet children as we do these wonderful streams for you guys. Our butter is just starting to melt down. So we'll get our garlic in there. And we're not even gonna bother cooking down our mushroom or anything today. We're just gonna actually add it into the gravy once the gravy is done, right before we're ready to smear it onto our pizza. Oh man, you can already, you can't, but I can. I can already hear the sizzle going on that, and it sounds delightful. Ahoy, how's it going? Cute, nice, thank you. Doing great, doing wonderful. Just checking in briefly, kind of busy. No, I appreciate it. Thanks for popping in. It is much better than Friday night, that's for sure. Saturday night went great. Today we're doing phenomenal. We're gonna do that good old sausage gravy on a homemade pizza crust. This should be delightful, guys. I'm so excited for this one. It's either going to turn out great or terrible. And depending on how this weekend went, I mean, it could be either. But hey, you know, you live and you learn, and then you cook better the next time. So I'm going to get out our nice spatula and just kind of whisk this around, or spatula this around. I guess that's a good question. Is it still whisking if you're not using a whisk? Just the motion of stirring? Do we just say stir this around? Is that the proper way to discuss this? Sounds nice. I think it will be. I think it will be. We're gonna add in some bacon. We're gonna add in some spinach and mushroom. We're gonna have egg on top, and then of course some Wisconsin cheese curds have got to make their way on the pizza. Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they? So we got the garlic's really starting to release its aromatics. It smells so delightful. It really does. There's nothing like garlic roasting on the stove top with some butter, getting all nice and toasty. It's one of the best things you could have. It really is. If someone can message Yankee Candle and figure out if we can get toasted garlic as a candle scent, I'm pretty sure my wife would be perpetually hungry the entire time if we did. We'll see. We'll see what we can do. As far as flavors go for this, so I think we're gonna run pretty straightforward with our sausage gravy. I'm thinking about adding some other flavors to this. The question is how do I want to doctor it? We don't need cayenne pepper. We don't need chipotle peppers. Brown mustard isn't going to do much for us. Some ginger, caraway. You know what? Let's throw a little sweetness at it. Just a little bit. There's going to be some spice. So what I'm going to do is we're going to add in, of course, my favorite seasoning. I love that Kinder's. So this is that brown sugar with wood fire garlic. So we're going to double down on the garlic. If you haven't had this stuff, it is fantastic. It really is. Kinder's makes some of the best pre-made seasonings. They have rubs, they have seasonings, they have everything. And every time I'm out, I will check and see if they have any new flavors that have come out. But yeah, this is that good stuff right here. So we're gonna dress up a little bit of this in there. In fact, we're gonna add it in now while the garlic's in and the butter's in. You see we get some nice smoke rolling around. Oh yeah. So we're gonna get you mixing in, get all that flavor. Oh yes. So you can smell the smokiness. There's that brown sugar in it. That's gonna taste so good. So that's just gonna infuse with the garlic, and we're gonna go ahead and plop in our sausage as well. And we're gonna reduce this heat down. We've got a good heat going already. You can hear, maybe you can hear the sizzle start on the sausage, which I'm very, very, very hungry for. I can't wait. So squeeze her out of the tube. Like toothpaste, but with meat. Just squeeze her out. Get every last bit of that sausage. And we're gonna start breaking them up. So I will say when it comes to sausage gravy, I feel like there's some really hard do's and don'ts, okay? Best, yes, if you can make your own sausage. That's awesome. Get your own pork in there, pork fat, your own mix of seasonings. You can make some really good sausage. But there are also some hard rules. One of those hard rules: never, ever use sausage links. I love the sound and smell of sausage. Electrifying Radio, thank you for joining in the chat. You are in for a treat today. We're making some good stuff. I was just ranting about the hard do's and don'ts of sausage gravy, and the one thing that I will walk out of a restaurant on is if they didn't even take the opportunity to break the casing on the sausage as they made sausage gravy. If they just took links, snipped them up into small bites and pieces, and threw them in, man, that's so rough. Or when you get a sausage gravy that is just completely white, like you can't see any pepper flakes in it, get out of there. Get out of there as soon as possible. You're better than that, and you deserve better than that. Don't get me wrong. If you have only sausage links, I'm talking businesses here, okay? I'm not talking, at home. But even at home, take the care, take your links, flip them down, end up, mincing them down yourself. You can still make a good sausage gravy out of links. In fact, I love Lynx because they have like all the different flavors you can do. So like you can get like a good maple one, and you can cut open that casing, you can get the sausage out of that, and do exactly what we're doing on the stovetop here. Just break it down. It's too easy not to do. So when I see a restaurant that does it and just does the Lynx, nothing makes me more upset. Like, you're gonna charge me, you know, $10 for a plate of sausage gravy covered up on some biscuits, and you're not even gonna take the care necessary to make good sausage gravy, a dish that's probably one of the easiest ones. This is one of the first dishes I learned to make with my father for Sunday morning breakfast. And I don't know, I have resentment for the restaurants that don't take the time or the care or any of the special needs to make good sausage gravy. So we're gonna let that continue to just cook down. We don't want too high heat. Like I said, we want a nice medium to medium low heat. We want that grease to really render off, the fat to render off. That is gonna be really key. Finding the right sausage can be tricky as well. Sometimes, at least if you're a picky person like me, I can understand that electrifying. I personally, I'm not super picky on the sausage because I tend to season. So like a regular old Jimmy Dean's is totally acceptable to me. I'll use it all day long. I would prefer to make our own. We used to make our own when we had a restaurant. I don't have that luxury anymore or the equipment. So we go ahead and we just do up some Jimmy Dean's, and then we just doctor it up. You can add onion, you can add sauce, or you can add garlic to it, which is what we did here. I added some brown sugar seasoning to this from Kinder's, which is super good stuff. I'll pop it up on the camera again here. The brown sugar with wood fire garlic, Kinder's seasoning, throw that in there. It just smells so good. It adds an extra layer. We're probably gonna do, I was thinking about doing some of the smoked paprika as well, but I don't know, maybe not. This is gonna be on a pizza with a whole bunch of other stuff. This isn't our typical sausage gravy for biscuits and gravy. That we already did. We're gonna have to redo it though, because that was early in the stream. We didn't have the equipment. We didn't have good audio. We're gonna have to redo that one because it turned out so good. And we do, you know, we do kitchen sink style. You throw in hash browns, or plate it with hash browns, throw your biscuits on top, throw some bacon in there, cover it all in gravy, plop yourself a big old over easy egg on top. It's a game changer. Like what? And when you think you have enough gravy on the plate, grab another ladle. Grab another ladle, throw it on over, ladle it up, and have a great time. When you think you have enough gravy, you're actually wrong. You need to add at least 1 to 2 more scoops of gravy. That's the rules of sausage gravy when it comes to breakfast time. Because sausage gravy is for Sundays when you have nothing good to do, but sit on the couch and digest when you're done. Because that's all you're going to be able to do. If you try to work, you will be sluggish. It's not going to be a good time. Well, it's going to be a great time, actually, because you're going to be relaxing, digesting the delicious biscuits and gravy you just had. So I take that back. It's going to be the most wonderful time you ever had. Welcome to Sundays with Lumberman Cooking. So we've got our sausage rendering down. That's going to keep going. We might as well bust out our other pan and get our bacon going as well. Because what's a breakfast pizza without a little bacon? So we're going to get some nice heat on the back burner here. We're gonna go for another, once again, low heat. We slow cook our bacon on the stove top. That's the way to go about it. So bacon wise, what do we got? Bacon the right way, right brand. So this is, gosh, that good thick applewood bacon. And we're gonna, ooh, that should actually be enough for everything we need on that. So my wife must have cracked into here. I've got myself 2 full slices or 4 half slices. I just recently got to where my taste buds would let me eat gravy. Thank goodness for taste buds changing ever so often. Yeah, I'm telling you. So fun fact about me, I was probably the pickiest eater you would ever meet. Potatoes, I didn't eat potatoes as a kid unless they came in deep fried form. So hash browns, French fries, potato chips, but even French fries or hash browns could only be just a quick thumbs up from you is all you need, is all I need, sir. Hey, Bam, you're the best. Thank you, sir. You are the best. By the way, Bam, if you can, if you're still here, give yourself a shout out. Shout out to Bam, best mod ever, has came in. There's a bunch of chat features now for you guys now, guys. Yeah, there, guys. He built those all out and has been helping me out a ton, helping produce the stream. He is phenomenal. Big shout out to Bamboozle95. Give him a follow. This guy runs this stuff. Hey, I like your channel. Hey, awesome channel. Keep up the good day and have a nice day ahead. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for popping in. And thank you guys for being a part of this. This is such fun to do, and it's all a big thanks to this community. Huge thanks to my wife, who tends to my screaming children as they smell all this delicious food and scream in the background. Worst part about this, though, guys, I end up cooking all this wonderful food, and my kids don't eat it. I want them to. Nothing would make me feel more fulfilled as a cook and a father than my children eating my delectable food, and they refuse. They refuse so hard. Instead, they scream in the background like I don't feed them, and then when I try to, they scream at me again to give them chicken sticks from Tyson or Dot's Pretzels, which I can't complain too bad. Dot's Pretzels are pretty good, but that's not my cooking, and it's very disheartening. So if you guys can, have a strong word with my children if you see them out on the street. Let them know, like, hey, your dad does good for you. Maybe you should try it out more often. That's all I'm asking for. That's all I'm asking for. Just a little love from the kids. Eating my food. We did the French toast the other day, and my son at least tried it. My youngest picked up the French toast, took a bite, and then just put it down. Reaches through the screen for their portion. I would happily allow you to have it here. This is for you. I made this. So we're going to put our bacon back away. Like I said, we won't need a ton. We're going to crunch those up. It's going to be more of a nice flavor accent into all of this. We're also going to have to whisk up some eggs when we're all said and done here as well. Let's take a peek. How is our dough doing? Our dough hasn't moved much. This could be a folly, guys. We're going to find out. We're going to let it continue to proof. In fact, we are actually just need some heat. That's all it needs. A little heat. We're going to kick on the oven for a second, let it do its thing. I think that's what I messed up on last time. So this is what I did last night when I proofed the bread. I actually turned on the oven for a little bit. Didn't keep it on. Let it like crank up to maybe 110 degrees in there. Just enough to keep the yeast alive and moving. And that thing fluffed up beyond all belief. Fluffed up beyond all belief. So our sausage now is all cooked through. Our bacon has not moved yet. Jeez, bacon, you gonna do something with your life, or are you just gonna hang around? We got heat. In fact, let me throw you guys on the old stovetop camera here. Boom. So you can see what's really happening. That's where all the action's at anyways. So our sausage gravy rendered down really well. I'm gonna pull it aside so you can kind of see the fat as it's... So you can see all this good grease that's collecting in there. That's what we want. And we're gonna... Sorry for my screaming children, everybody. So sorry. They promise that they don't know what they're doing. So all that grease in there is going to end up help forming what our roux is going to be. So you can see all that big pool forming up. That is going to be the good stuff, the good sauce. So that's what's going to help everything thicken up. We also have the bacon now just starting to sizzle. So we're going to keep it on this medium heat. We're going to add in some AP flour. That's just all-purpose flour. That'll help us do all the goodies. My lazy Susan has gotten really lazy. What happened, lazy girl? Oh, there we go. Came off kilter. She was a wobbly Susan. It was a wobbly Susan. You know, you don't want your Susans wobbling. Lazy, yes, but not wobbling. All right, so let's turn our heat back down on the bacon since she's moving good. And we're gonna go 2 tablespoons. Like I said, I'm gonna want a thicker gravy today. So we're gonna go 1, and we're gonna throw in a second one as well. Right away, and we're just gonna start stirring this up. And we want that flour to really bind to everything. We want to grab every bit of grease that's in there and just soak it up. Just soak on up. Oh yeah, that's gonna be really good stuff. So we're gonna do just a touch more flour. There's still a little grease in there we can absorb. Another full spoon in there. Just get that all stirred together. Fun fact, my wife actually fell in love with me when we first made biscuits and gravy. Prior to that, she just only liked me. And it was her way of basically being like, yeah, you're worth getting married to. So, you know, 5 years of marriage later, we're here. I cook for her. We have another Lumbee baby on the way. She's a wonderful lady, though. God, I appreciate that woman taking care of them kids. She does a great job. You know, a little bit of that girl power in the stream, I guess. All right, so we got our AP flour in there. That's all set to go. Now, here's the fun part. This is where we're going to get dicey and slicey. Oop. Make sure that oven turns off. Jeez. We don't need it baking. We just need it getting warm. Okay, the bowl's nice and warm. It has risen a little bit. It didn't completely double in size, which is fine, but we got a rise out of it. Congrats on the kid, by the way. Thank you so much, Radio. I appreciate that. Appreciate it a ton. So we've got about 16 ounces of half and half here that we're going to dump in. Now, when we do that, we're on a medium heat. We're actually going to crank this up right now to an 8, that high heat. And we're going to throw in the 16 ounces of half and half. We're also going to do a little bit of milk as well. Now, the thing is that this kills that heat almost instantly. And then whole milk as well. Now, I use whole milk as kind of an adder to this. If you use half and half the whole way through, it will make it super rich and delicious. And that's fine too. So a little bit of milk in there, just enough to kind of coat the top of everything. That should take that the rest of the way, but we want this to get up to a boil. Now, keep an eye on it. Do not let this thing get away from you. It can, and it will. And when it does, it boils over on everything, and it ruins your stovetops. I've made this mistake. Please don't make the same mistake. It's not worth it. You don't have to do this. You don't have to choose violence today. I mean, you can choose violence. That's on you. But today, we are not trying to choose violence. We just want good sausage gravy. That's all we need. That's all we need. So we're gonna let that get to a boil. Don't worry too bad. Also, if you're gonna leave your spatulas in like I do, make sure you got high heat spatulas. This is actually from back in the day when we owned the restaurant. That's how long I've had this rubber spatula. And it is a high heat, but yeah, if you're gonna leave them on the heat, make sure you got that. And we're gonna give our bacon a little flippy poo. Get that first bit of grease recoated in there. Now, like I've said before when we do bacon, I do bacon stovetop, flip often, medium heat, and let it dry, and you will have some of the crispiest, best bacon you've ever had. You really will. We're gonna kick the oven up to 425. That's gonna be our baking temp today. Don't forget the oven. Thank you, Faceplant. I just went and grabbed out the proofing. Yeah, we got it up to 425. We're there. It will yell at me, much like your ovens yell at you when it's ready to go. What can I say? My ovens do things. And apparently sound like everybody else's oven as well. So we've got our good gravy starting to get, the fat's starting to break apart here. Like I said, we want to get this up to a boil and a simmer. And that's going to help get everything loosen up and start to thicken up this nice sausage gravy. And then we'll start adding in some pepper here as well. Actually, we might as well start cracking it in now. So when it comes to sausage gravy, crack your own pepper. Don't be lazy about this. Best way to do it. Crack your own pepper, best flavor. You're going to bring some of that heat with it as well. So you're going to spend some time over this with the old cracker, if you will, the grinder, the pepper grinder. Words are hard, guys. I'm sorry. You do this long enough, apparently you just start fumbling your own words. And we're just gonna stir it up. Ooh, darling. And just let that all become friends. Just let it hang out for a while. Hey, Gravy, how you doing? I'm good, Pepper. How you doing? Just cracking up, having a great time. Just enjoying myself. I see we brought some sausage to the party. Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. So That's all good. We're integrated in. We got some good cracked pepper in there. We're gonna let that continue to get to a boil, get to the point where we're reducing down, and we'll be ready to really start baking down pretty soon. So our bread, like I said, the dough has risen pretty well. I'm okay with it. We've got the oven started up. We got bacon going. Our sausage gravy is just now starting to simmer, which is good. That's what we want. Yes, come to the simmer side. And we're just gonna keep on stirring it. We don't want anything to get burned on the bottom or on the sides. And we don't want it to come to a full boil. So now that we're getting that boil action, reduce it down to a simmer. Do not let it boil. Or should I say boil over. It will ruin your stove. I have had so many stovetop incidents where this happened and it did not go well, guys. Do yourself the service. Stir gently, reduce heat once you start seeing the simmer, and just let it do its thing. It's gonna reduce down, it's gonna thicken up, and it's gonna be perfect sauce for our pizza today. Perfect sauce. Oh yeah. See that nice bubble action that's going on down there, guys? It's so good. I wish you could smell the smells I'm smelling here today too. These smells are smelly smells that smell smelly, but in like a good smelly way. So we're gonna flip our bacon one more time. Get some more crispy. We'll probably end up doing one more flip actually, just to brown up the other side. And then we'll let these guys dry out. Once again, that heat, so we'll draw those back flat and we'll have ourselves a nice crispy flat piece of bacon to chop up on. Might as well grab those out. Now, I'm debating today whether or not to go with a square style pizza or a round pizza. We're big fans here of cut into squares, but I'm also tempted to just do that anyways. Like, let's just make a square pizza then. Kind of my thought. I know pizza should be round, but we kind of break the rules around here. So why not just break them all? Are you with me? Are you against me? I guess let me know. You guys okay with square pizza today? Are you okay with you want to see round pizza? You let me know. I'm here for you and for my stomach. Make sure we don't have a good boil over. Already starting to thicken, which is awesome. Love a good thick gravy. Good thick sausage gravy. Go a long way in this house. All right. Got that all stirred down. Got our grate set up for drying our bacon. We could actually throw that one down. We're gonna go square is awesome. It almost feels like there's more pieces sometimes. I'm with you on that. I feel like square pizza is incredibly underrated. You know, I said it before, I'm a huge fan of a Detroit style pizza, which is made square. I think it's one of my favorites, aside from a good deep crust Chicago style. And I'm gonna be honest with you. It's one of the few times you'll hear me praise anything Chicago. I used to live there at a point in my life, didn't care for it. It's a terrible city with terrible traffic. But the food is the only thing it's got going for it. And at the top of that list is a Giordano's deep dish pizza. Now, I'll fight someone to the death on that one because there's plenty of other places that do them, but Giordano's, even though it is a chain nowadays, they've got like 20 of them across Chicagoland, so worth it. They are the best. Lou Malnati's does okay if you like a thin crust pizza. I think they do a really good thin crust, but I'm a deep dish fan. I'm a deep dish fan depending on the pizza. I think that's true. And to be fair, you know, I've always heard people say it like it's a totally different kind of pizza. I think that's a fair assessment. You know, like you're not going to go to a kid's party, have a couple slices of a deep dish pizza and walk away feeling okay. All right. That's sit down, enjoy a full meal, walk away from that thing knowing you're 10 pounds heavier. Uno's is good too. Uno's. I've never tried Uno's. I did have, what was it? Nano's. Nano's Pizza, which was up in LaGrange. Super good. They made a killer thin crust margarita pizza. Now, as far as take and bakes go, let's bring up that. Let's go to the retail pizza market here. Lots of matzah. What best take and bake pizza there is. Now, if I'm doing like a cheese fry, where it's just cheese, garlic, butter, goodness baked together, Portesi. Look them up. Fan-freaking-tastic. You know, there's so many varieties of pizza out there. Like, I don't know how you could try them all and still be like, you know, I don't know how you could, A, actually try them all without being 500 pounds. But B, like, that you couldn't like pizza. There's so many varieties and types and different people that make them with so many different ingredients. Like, how could you not find something that you would like out of that? Well, that's just me. But yeah, lots of matzah, take and bake pizza, easily one of the best. And I mean, I'm no Dave Portnoy here, but it's a solid 9.4, for sure, for sure. But today's pizza is going to be a solid 10er. I'll tell you that much. Wish Dave was here. He'd be able to tell me. So our sausage gravy has thickened up really well, really, really well. We are going to do a little taste test here to figure out how we're feeling about that. We do want a good pepperiness. I did find one pizza that I actually walked away from, and I don't walk away easily from Little Caesars 3 feet bacon pizza. Really, 3-foot bacon pizza. The Little Caesars in this house, like I said, the only thing the kids will eat. I've tried so many other types of food with them, but Little Caesars pizza is their go-to. How about this? I'm going to take a bite of this one, but we should probably call Miss Tiff in. If you guys want to throw up the emotes, get that tasting time, let her come on out here. Oh, that's good. That's good. Miss Tiff, I think it's your time to come on out here. I think you want to try out a little bit of this gravy. What do you think as a pizza sauce for your gravy? Everyone welcome the great Miss Tiff. It's hot. It is hot. Don't put your hand underneath there. You'll burn your hand. Let me just scoop that away for you. There you go. It's good now. Blow and try. I think it's good. It's got some good richness. Not super peppery. I think you can use a little pepper. No, no, no. No, no, no. Don't touch. Don't touch.
It's perfect.
It's a perfect. So, 3 feet of bacon wrapped around the edge like a crust. See, that just seems too much. That seems too much, radio. I don't think that that's a good call on their part. I don't. I think that's a very poor call, actually. All right, so we got our sausage gravy nice and thickened up. I'm going to let it sit on simmer for a little longer. We're going to see if it ends up picking up a little bit more thickness to it. We are going to go ahead and grab our bacon out. Kick us over to that cutting board camera, sweet lady. Second one, yep, CB. Boom. There we go. There's that bacon. Let's lay that bad boy out for you. Now, I'm not a fan of 3 feet of bacon, but I am a fan of this bacon. This is going to chop up real good. Going to be nice and crisp once it dries out. And then, of course, we save our bacon grease. Always save your bacon grease. You could use it so much. I agree wholeheartedly. Yeah, very excessive. So make sure you guys save your bacon grease. I got a little old baby jar here that I like to keep them in. We're just going to dump all that extra grease right in there. Boom. And that's going to be for good cooking later on. This is so good. Look at that grease. I know, man. That's where it's at, homie. This is where it goes. We're all about that grease. Listen, I love people. I love the fact that there's a variety of people out there. Vegans hate this channel. Vegans hate this channel. So much grease, so much good stuff. I will give you plenty of tips on how to make something vegetarian, but I've never been a great vegetarian myself. So now that our gravy's good and done up, we do have to do some eggs as well to throw on our pizza. So where is that pan at? You know what? What am I doing? We can just use the pan I used the bacon grease in. So we're just gonna give it a brief wipe out, because we don't need all that in there. Get some of those crusties away. But we're gonna leave it, some of that surface grease on there. And we're gonna let it just chill out for a little bit. It doesn't need to be as hot as it was on the back. We're gonna in fact put it on some very low heat on the front burner. And we've got to get some eggs going because we're going to do a little bit of scrambled egg A little underdone because it's going to cook in the pizza as well. The pizza is going to have to sit for about 12 to 15 minutes in the oven. And while that's going, like I said, to keep you guys occupied, we are going to reheat up some of that good cheese sauce we made the other night. So it came together really thick. In fact, we're going to add a little bit of that bacon grease. We're going to add a little bit of milk to it, help thin it back out, and that cheese whiz sauce that we made, so that we got something to dunk all this wonderful pizza inside of. It's going to be a great time. 10 of 10, would recommend. So we're going to kick back to that cutting board camera here, and you guys can help keep an eye on all the stovetop items. Let's talk eggs. Now, my preferred egg, if I'm going to be totally honest with you guys, and my wife hates this, I love the Gordon Ramsay perfect scrambled eggs. A lot of people don't. They hate the texture. I am with Radio on this one. I love a soft egg. I love a nice, soft, borderline underdone. I used to have friends that made fun of me because I would do what I would do. I would take bacon and I would take ham, sausage, and I'd just put it in a pan for a while, cook all of it together, and I'd dump an entire egg in there, 3 eggs scrambled up, and just stir and stir and stir and stir. And right before it started to get solid, I'd dump a ton of cheese in it. And because the cheese was in there and all that greasy stuff, like, it never really got hard. It always stayed soft and kind of gooey. And my buddies would look at me like, that's not even cooked. I'm like, no, it's fully cooked and delicious, and you're missing out by being lame. So we're gonna do 4 eggs worth of scrambly going on for our pizza. That dough is rising. I'm so glad we took that opportunity. It is about double the size that it was. We're getting there. We're getting places, people. We're not going to college or anything, but we're going places. So let's scramble up these eggs. Give them a good scramble. Actually, this is a good opportunity to swap these bad boys up. You go over here. You hang out on that side for a little bit. You come over here, and you're going to be good and warm for me. And we're going to have ourselves a good time. So we're going to do a soft scramble on this. Like I said, it's going to end up baking up and getting a little bit of a crust on them in there. So we got 4 eggs. We're just going to whisk those together with a fork. Once again, not sure. Maybe we're forking them together, because that, I mean, is whisking strictly a reference to a whisk itself? Or is it mutual? Like, can I use this everywhere? Can I be like, hey, we're whisking with a fork. We're whisking with a spatula. I don't know. These are the questions that are just left unanswered for me, and there's so much opportunity here to educate ourselves. So we're gonna give that a good whisk. Some people add in milk into their eggs to give them fluffier. Hit and miss on that one. I've done it before. I really never noticed the difference. Supposedly milk or cream will help elevate the egg, make it more rich, which I believe more than making it a fluffier egg. So let's dump this bad boy on in. And we've got a real mild heat on here, which is exactly what we want, because we want this to break up, form a bunch of little bitty pieces, but we want to be in control of it as well as far as the heat's concerned. So we don't want it to take off and just make a whole bunch of scrambliness. Our gravy still growing. Nice and thick. Now this is going to be a perfect sauce for our pizza. Guys, I am just drooling over here. I've been salivating for the last 20 minutes just with all these wonderful smells we got going on. We've got, of course, got some bacon grease in on the egg. You can see that grease picking up, getting integrated in, a little brown with that yeller. This is gonna be a rowdy good time. I hope you guys are settled in, because this is only gonna get better from here. Our oven's preheated pretty well. And then, like I said, we're gonna add in our mushrooms and our spinach right at the end into the gravy before we toss it onto the pizza. Or actually, we may even just toss it on and then do the gravy. I don't know, we'll figure it all out. It also depends on what you're using them on, I think. I think that's probably applicable. I think so. Now, as far as egg preferences go, like I said, soft scramble. I love Gordon Ramsay's perfect scrambled eggs, which is just really doing what we're doing here. Low heat, stirring it up. Be glad I can't reach through that bacon, would be disappeared by now. I'm surprised my wife, Sweet Miss Tiff, hasn't taken these from me. She's good about that. She likes to rob ingredients from time to time. So she ended up, she is not a soft scramble person. She likes a hard scramble, but she likes her eggs over easy when they're not scrambled. She's a weird one. I prefer over easy and sunny side up when it comes to those eggs. I really, really, really like a soft scramble though. But like I was saying, if you do the Gordon Ramsay eggs, you end up doing exactly what we're doing here. You're just stirring them up and you're taking them on and off a kind of medium to medium high heat and doing that rapidly. And then right before they're really firmed up, you end up actually doing some creme fraiche in there. Now, if you don't have creme fraiche, you can of course substitute sour cream, which works out really well as well. Another fun fact about eggs, never add your pepper early while it's cooking. You always want to add after or right when the egg's about to be done, because otherwise the pepper will turn your eggs kind of a gray color, and you don't want that one either. They don't look appealing. As we've learned, guys, you eat with your eyes before you do your mouth. Your nose will get you there, okay? Nose will get you to the plate. But you also have to look upon that plate before you end up eating it. So plating, visualizations is everything. If you want your plates to look good, preparation is part of that. I think we do a pretty good job with our plating in this channel. Of course, that brings up a golden opportunity here to talk about all the socials, guys. You can see that we've got our Discord down below. Feel free to join in. That's where you'll see our final plates and all their glory. You'll also be able to see them on Twitter. Follow us there. We also have now TikTok, and we also have YouTube. We are getting those rolling, so there's not a lot on there yet. But that's where all the fun clips come in. Like last night, us finally having victory, you know, exclamation point victory, throw it on the board. But also from Friday night where we had a terrible time. So I think you have to throw them up, throw them up for their respective. So Discord, Twitter, all of those should have the links on them. I should just have a single socials command, but I think it would get too long. All right, so we're starting to get our eggs softened up. We're going to start kind of chopping them up as we go here, so that way they're breaking into smaller, cragglier bits. But we're starting to get to that point, which is just fine. Those look so good too. Like they're just starting to firm up. They're just starting to get their posture, if you will. My eggs are posturing up on me right now, bro. All right. Get all of that nice egg scooped around. We're going to have to move quickly with this. We don't want them to overcook. If they go over hard, we're probably shooting for an over soft, maybe close to an over medium, just to give them structure. Right now, we're pushing on that limit. We're just going to fold them over a little bit, chop them down. Like I said, we want some nice broken up pieces of egg, but we don't want them to be fully cooked yet. Because off the pizza, being probably about a medium hard to medium egg would be where we want to be. And I think we're there. Let's go ahead. We'll chop those up a little bit as we drop them on, but I think that's all I want, because that's going to go right on top of our pizza. And I don't think I want them to be anything more than what they are now. That's a good temp that we're at with these. These are right at that over soft. You can see they've still got some good shine to them. Maybe not because I'm standing in front of it. We got some good shine on these. They're breaking up into some nice small bits. That's exactly what we want. That's going to sit so well on our pizza. Probably could have done another egg too, if now that I'm thinking about it, but you know, whatever. So I think we're almost there, guys. I think we're getting ready for the fun stuff. We do got to chop up our bacon, and we got to start our dough. Dada! My son can smell all this goodness, and he's like, yeah, I want some. And I'll be happy to let you try some, my sweet, wonderful child, but I don't think you're going to like it. You never like any of it. All right. So we got our dough, and we got our bacon. So bacon-wise, we got our knife. Let's give it a quick rinse down. And we're just gonna rough chop that down in some nice bits and pieces. But before we do that though, we gotta break off Miss Tiff a chunk, set that aside. If she doesn't have her chunk of bacon, she's likely to beat me. So let's give that a nice chop. So crunchy. It's just breaking apart so well. All right, we're good there. And we've got to get my small chunk. Oh. That's good bacon right there. We gotta get some parchment out on our sheet pan as well. Don't want any stickiness. We've made it this far, guys. We made it this far. Let's hope it doesn't go awry anytime soon. So we got our parchment lined sheet pan. We are gonna go with the square style pizza, which I am super excited for. Super, super excited for. All right, I think we're just about there. I'm trying to think if there was anything else I'm missing. We got the egg, got the bacon, mushroom, we've got the spinach, we've got our sausage gravy, cheese curds in the background you can't see currently because I'm gonna start eating them. And then we just gotta roll out our dough at this point. So let's get rid of some stuff. Let's clean off our workspace. Make sure we got enough room to do all this good stuff on. Get rid of our bacon. And our eggs. If you can hear my screaming children, once again, thank you for putting up with them. They're wonderful boys. They really are. They don't know any better. He just boy, he didn't even know him. All right, so dough-wise, let's get this put up. We're gonna throw down some flour, and we're gonna start kneading our dough. So let's just give a little sprinkle out there. All right, time to start the magic, folks. Time to start the magic. So we got nice roast flour, raised bread, raised dough, risen. Oh yeah. All right. So we're gonna knead this down a couple times, probably 5 or 6 good kneads on it. Work out everything. Work everything back in, all that good oil. And it's a nice elastic dough. That worked out really well, guys. Folks, this is a good dough recipe. I was worried. I'm glad we made the transitions we did. We added a little more water. It feels like a pizza dough. So we're gonna get this guy rolled down. I say rolled down like I have a roller. I don't, because I'm lame and don't bake all that often. So I don't even have a rolling pin. But we're gonna start working it apart here and try to get it down to about I would say a 1/4 inch all the way around, and keep on sprinkling in some of that flour. Keep it nice and workable for us. We're gonna just thin that bad boy out. I gotta imagine I have something I could roll this with, but oh yeah, I do have things I can roll this with, like liqueur. So just give that a roll with your favorite liquor bottle. I had vodka. It's not full, it's empty, but it works. It's itself a rolling pin. And we're just gonna roll this out until we can get ourselves a nice, decent circle, and then try to stretch it as well. Who knows, maybe I am part Italian. We're gonna keep stretching her out. Get a nice elastic dough here. Just keep stretching it. All right. I hope you guys are excited for this as much as I am. I know I say it all the time. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I get it. I get it. There's certain cues that I have that I just can't shake. One of them is sharing my utter excitement for all of you guys. Curious what type of cut? Yeah, hit up Stream Elements, guys. Check out those commands. They do a great job for us. So we got our Pizza dough starting to stretch out here. We've already worked it out quite well. We've got about 8 to 12 inches across here. And we're going to continue to kind of roll it, get it stretched as far as we can so that we've got enough room for our pizza dough. And I really do want to get a nice thin pizza on this. I think a crackery crust is the way to go with a breakfast pizza. Kind of that nice, thin, crispy. That's my take on it, at least. I think that's the better crust to have. So we're going to just keep on stretching. And with this dough, we did add some seasoning to it. So we threw the old Little Caesar Zap Pack in it. Cooking is an art, better yet, edible art. You're telling me. You're telling me. Speaking of artwork, you know, every time we stream, I throw a little artwork around here. I don't know if you've noticed my wonderful lumberman board behind us with our love. What is it? Eat, Love, Beard. We got, of course, the Baby Lumbee countdown on there. And today we just put good morning, okay? Because it was a good morning. We had a great morning. The family was great. You can hear how great of a morning my youngest is having right now, actually. He's very pleased. My sweet wife. She just ran off. Ran off to tend to the children like the great mother she is. Giving kisses. Dad doesn't get any kisses when he's cooking, though. He doesn't even get kisses when he's done. Come on. Share the love for Dad. All right, guys. So we're going to keep working this out. Man, this is elastic. Every time I'm stretching, it's just rebounding. And I think this is going to be the best way to do it, is just kind of let gravity do the work. I think that's stretching the fibers well enough. I don't know. I don't even think I should even attempt like tossing this pizza. I'm afraid of it. Little centrifugal force. Do we have Italian in us? No, I don't have any Italian in me. I can't do that. It was a good attempt though, but it was poor execution. At least it didn't completely fall apart on us. But hey, we try new things here, guys. And if we screw it up, we screw it up. I mean, I say this like we didn't drop French fries the other night. It was terrible. I felt so bad. My wife was looking forward to French fries so badly, and we dropped 90% of them on the floor. It was such a bad day. You know what? Go rewatch Friday. Friday's stream was a terrible good time. We had a great plate at the end. I think, you know, you get overexcited, you do all your prep work, you educate yourself on what you're cooking, and you're just excited to go, 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 go. And then things go bad. And that's okay. Hey, it's good because at the end of the day, we're all human, guys. Even I have terrible days in the kitchen too, where things just don't seem to go right. Dough doesn't rise, cheese sauce burns, French fries hit the ground. Like, that's all very real stuff, and it's gonna happen. And I think it's important to know that, like, you know, sometimes you watch a lot of these cooking shows and you see these great guys and gals that put together really great videos. And you're like, man, I wish I could cook as well as they do. But what they don't show you is the 6 hours of bloopers that happened to get to the point where the final plate was done, or how many things they burned to get there. And don't get me wrong, there's a difference between like a restaurant chef who has to do this every night, the same recipes, and has really good practice and rhythm and cadence. They even mess things up from time to time, but you know, farther and fewer in between. But when you're doing this for something like this and you're doing the unique stuff every time, it's hard to get comfortable and have a rhythm. Yes, we are. I burned a mug cake in the microwave. I have shamefully done that as well. So you guys can see here, our dough is getting stretched out. We have made movement, we've made progress. I do want to make sure our sausage gravy is fine. It is. It's still simmering. Oh gosh, yes. This was perfect. I put it on just a nice light simmer, and it has been doing really well over there. You know, I probably should have just swapped it back to the cutting board camera here for you guys so you can see my struggles and pain. And we're just trying to work everything out to the edges at this point, getting the inner crust as thin as possible. That's really the goal here. And I like I said, a nice thin crust for this, I think, is going to be the best course of action. I think a nice thin crackery crust will be the right way to go about it. Yes, we're getting there, folks. We are getting there. we've got ourselves, I don't know, probably up to about, I'd say, we're a solid 14 inches, 12 inches across on the dough here. We're getting right where we need to be. And hopefully by the time I'm done with this, it all fits on my sheet pan too. And we're just, like I said, working the centers out. Working the centers out to the edges, bringing it out, thinning it out. I want a really nice thin crust here. And when we're done with this, we are gonna fold an edge for the crust. We're gonna poke some holes to prevent some bubbling. And we are gonna start slathering on all that goodness. And we're gonna put a little olive oil down as well to hopefully crisp up the bottom as well as the top. Oh yeah. Let's see, how are we looking size-wise on this? I think we're good on width. I really do. I think we just gotta make it a little longer. A little longer. So we're gonna start dragging things down this way, rolling it out. This is gonna be an interesting take, guys. I don't know how it's gonna happen, how it's gonna turn out. The dough at least rose for us, and it's been doing really good for us so far. I mean, yeah, little elasticy, a little hard to work out, but that's okay. I'd rather have it this way than the other way. Oh yeah. If your mouth isn't watering, I don't think you know what good pizza is. Because this is gonna be glorious. Really is. All right. I think we're good. I think I like that. So we're just gonna start folding in and make our crust lip, if you will. And make our nice squared up pizza. You know, hindsight, I probably could have done some cheese in this crust. That's okay. And we're just gonna press those into the dough and hope that they stick down really well. So run our fingers through on the crust here, kind of seal that edge, give us that nice lip. And just work our way down, try to make these nice square edges. This is going to be a very interesting take on things, guys. I really hope it turns out. I really do. I think it will. You know, every now and again, these plans come together and really great things happen. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes things become a dumpster fire, and that's okay too. Dumpster fires still have lessons they can teach us. Got a bucket to catch my watering mouth. Good call. Good call. That's the way to do it. You know, you can probably use that for later too. Always save this elevation. All right, so we're building up that crust edge. We're on the last run here, and we're gonna be ready to start getting some goodness going. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. All right, give this a turn. And start our last edge here. So we're gonna just tuck and press. Tuck and press. I'm salivating heavily. I can smell nothing but great sausage gravy and bacon. I really want to eat already, but we still have to cook this and make cheese whiz sauce for dipping purposes. Oh my. This is real torture is what it is. Making great food and then having to wait to actually eat it. I don't know how you guys do it, sitting there watching me cook this great food and not even be able to try it. But it's the process, and I'm hoping you guys learn it. I hope someone else takes this recipe and tries it out and sees how they like it. So I'm just working back around here and pressing everything in. I had cheese scrambled eggs the other day. Ooh, I like some cheese scrambled eggs. I really like some cheese scrambled eggs. So we got that. Let's oil up our sheet pan. Like I said, I want this to crisp up. So we're just gonna throw that down on the parchment paper and grab our, it's in here somewhere, loud noises. Our brush from oiling earlier. As I'm throwing things, disregard. Suppose I can get you out of the way. Make my life a little easier. Jeepers, crepe skis, I'll tell you what skis. All right. We're just putting that oil all over on here in hopes of building up a little bit of a more crispy crust on the bottom. With that oil, hopefully it'll fry up some of that dough. Give us a nice crispy undercarriage. We don't want any flop, you know. Crispy undercarriage, no flop, one bite, everyone knows the rules. All right, let's get our crust in there. Always has snacks when I come to food streams. After being in Kyle's stream for the first time. I don't think I've been at Kyle's stream? Am I missing out on it, gentlemen? All right, oh, that's a perfect size. Oh, yes. Look at that crust, honey. Oh, yeah. All right, so we do have to get some oil in the crust as well, and crusts everywhere. Oil everywhere. So we're just gonna give a light drizzle. A little pressure, don't need a lot on here. And we're just gonna oil down everything. And this should just help make everything, the outer crust, really nice and crispy, help the undercarriage get real nice and crispy. All right. And good news, we haven't dropped any French fries on the floor yet. We're in a great place. We're in a great place. All right, so we got that all done, pulled across. There we go. We've got our bed. We've got our wonderful, wonderful bed. Oh. A date nightin'? Oh, a date nightin'. A date night in. Oh my gosh, words are hard. Yes, okay. Awesome. All right, so let's litter in. Like I said before, I didn't know how we were gonna do this. I'm gonna do it this way. We're gonna litter in our spinach first. So we got a little spinach in there with a chiffonade cut. I don't know. I rolled it, I chopped it. It came out in nice fancy strips. I think it's called a chiffonade cut or a chiffonade. Honey, I do have your bacon here for you. A little small bite of bacon, keep you rolling, keep you happy. All right, we gotta keep Miss Tiff in a great mood, otherwise she gets sassy at us. Now let's get some of the mushrooms on there. So, some fresh mushrooms. We got some baby portobellas, and we've got some button mushrooms, just some white buttons. Get those sprinkled in. That's gonna be so good. I am so excited for this, guys. So excited. And I just can't hide it. And then put you there. We're gonna layer on our gravy now. We're also gonna have to get some cheese grated up. I didn't even think of that. Oh my gosh, we're so far behind, but we're so far ahead. Get you out of the way. All right. Yep, our egg was good. That's gonna crust up nice. It's a nice soft egg. And then our gravy. Our gravy is gravy-licious. Oh gosh, yes. Goodness gracious, great gravy of fire. Turn that heat off. That's gonna be good later on too. I think the best part of this cooking stream is the fact that I get to have leftovers all week long, take lunch in to work, and have all the wonderful people stare at all the great food I get to have. I just recently started eating spinach after last year. It's a new adder for me too. I've never been a huge fan growing up, but spinach is so good. It's one of the best leafy greens out there in my opinion. I've never been as you can tell, I've never been a huge salad guy, but I love a good spinach salad. And yeah, 10 of 10 would recommend. Spinach is probably one of my favorite pizza toppings as well. Gosh, this is good thick gravy. Good thick gravy. Nice big hunks of sausage in there. And I didn't know if we made enough gravy. I didn't know if we made too much gravy, but it looks like this is going to be a good amount regardless. And we're just thinning that in there. Putting it where it belongs, right in some delicious good places. Delicious good places. We'll get one more. I don't think this will thin out anymore, and I didn't want a thin gravy. I wanted it to be nice and thick. I wanted it to kind of stand on its own, which it's doing really well. That way it doesn't ooze everywhere. Because as it cooks, it's just gonna thin out more. I say that like I'm not adding a ton of grease by adding cheese to this either, so maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it does thin out because of all the grease. Maybe that's a good reason why I did this nice and thick. We're gonna find out, guys. The end result will really be the prize here. And it'll be, time will tell. Time will tell how we did today. In roughly 20 short minutes, we're gonna have a cooked pizza. By the time we cheese this up and egg it up and put all the last goodies on top, just kind of getting some of these other spots filled up with the gravy, making sure we got good coverage. This is gonna be one hell of a breakfast pizza. Get you back over here, and let's get our cheeses on. Like I said, I didn't have fresh mozz, so we are out on the fresh mozz train. So we have got some. I think I still have it. Oh, Jiminy Crickets. Oh, geez, Batman. No, I do have mozz. What am I saying? I'm an idiot. I am an idiot. Guys, false alarm. We've got some grading to do. We've got some grading to do. We have plenty of fresh mozz. I love my fruit salads. Not a huge fan of regular salads. I honestly can't disagree with you. I cannot disagree with you whatsoever. But I'm not when it comes to fruits, I can't stand melons. Watermelon, cantaloupe, honeydews. It's like, I'm sorry for my children. They are wonderful people, I swear. They're in there having a fist fight, apparently. So we're gonna end up doing I've got some whole milk mozzarella. I've got some medium cheddar. We're actually probably gonna go with the sharp cheddar. I think there's a better breakfast. We've got some Hawaka cheese, which is gonna be a great binder. And then that should be taking us right to the end of it. Is Dewey all right? Is he just screaming? Does he want to come in and say hi? He's screaming in the background. Kids will be kids. Yeah, I know. I know. My kids are wonderful kids. They really are. In fact, I think they're just excited because after this, we're going, can't say it too loud or they'll freak out, OUTSIDE, to play and to clean up the yard. And we'll just see how everything goes for them. You know, they're supposed to have a great day today. We just had to make some time for cooking. So mozzarella first. We're going to go with some nice big hunks of mozzarella, and we're going to grind this whole thing up. 8 ounce. Things happen on stream, I guess. My handle just fell right off, which is fine. We don't need a handle. That was scary. Jiminy Crickets. So let's get this guy grated up. Nice big hunks of mozz coming right through. And if you don't like a cheesy pizza, I don't know that we can be friends. Cheese is literally a staple of my diet. An absolute staple of this household. My diet. I'm pretty sure this state. And I don't trust California cow cheese. They say it's you know, they say it's happier cows. Have you seen a happy cow in your life? I've never seen a happy cow in your life. And you know, well, maybe I have. I don't know. I've seen a cow smell. This will be even better later as well, providing that there's anything left. You are absolutely correct. I don't know that there will be anything left. Miss Tiff has been starving all morning. We did set up Miss Tiff her snack on the side. She wanted a bowl of soup this morning, so we did a nice bowl of soup for Miss Tiff. Keep her satisfied until the good stuff was done. You know, we're learning our lessons over here on the stream. We're young. We're a great channel, but we're a young channel, and we're learning through the difficulties of streaming the hours that we do, including but not limited to my wife wanting to murder me because she's hungry. You know, hangry's a real thing. All right, so we got our mozz done. That is a good level of mozz. So we're gonna take our mozz right away and let's just get that on there. Nice big chunks of mozzarella. I like a big grate on these. I think that that's just, first of all, delicious because, you know, any leftover cheese isn't really leftover because we just do fistfuls of cheese in this house. Big fan, #1 fan. Hey, thank you, BPD. Thanks for joining in. I love all those starches too. Me too. Me too. BPD, you're a great dude. Thank you for jumping in. Thank you for being a part of. We're wrapping up here, and I say wrapping up. We got about probably 20 minutes to 30 minutes left, which is going to put us pretty good on schedule here. 20, 30 minutes. So we've got our mozzarella on, just enough. 8 ounces of mozzarella covered about the whole thing. But of course, it's not done yet. We've got to get some of our Hawaka cheese in there. Hawaka, waka, waka, waka. Once again, some nice big grates. This is really good Mexican melting cheese. It is essentially Mexican mozzarella with a little more salt, I feel. I feel like it's got a little bit more saltiness to it. And we're just going to get some nice big grates of that. We're not going to grind up the whole thing, just enough to help bind all the cheeses together and give us some good string, some good cheese pull action. That's what that's for. That's your cheese pull. So, oh, Mama Bear staring at all the cheese I'm putting on. Like I'm insane. Her words, you're trying to send me into labor early? Yes, I am. With all this wonderful cheese. Listen, an early labor by cheese is a labor I'm willing to give or have. And my wife's staring at me like she's ready as well. But we gotta try the cheese too. That's important. Oh, that's good cheese. Mama Bear informed me, Mischief, that we need more cheese on that corner. It was lacking. All right, and then we do need some sharp cheddar just to give us some variables. We're gonna do fine shred on this. We're not gonna do nearly as much. This is gonna be for color, labor of love of food, you might say. Absolutely, radio, absolutely. So this will give us color. It'll give a little bit of some flavor as well to that. And we're gonna do the fine shred on this because we don't need a ton. We just need a little, just a little bit, not a lot. And I think that's too fine of a shred. I think I'm not even on a shredder at this point. I think that's more of a zester. Like, that's way too fine. Let's hit the medium here. There we go. Much better. Much better. And we're only going to do about probably 2.5 ounces of the sharp cheddar. Like I said, color and just an accent flavor. Get all of you out of there. I want all of your cheese. All right. A little shred will do you. You darn right it will. All right, so here's some of our shredded cheese. All right. Actually, we were going to shred a little more because I forgot. We got to add in all the rest of our toppings here. I was almost so excited about what we got. Forgot about all the other good stuff. So our bacon, nice crispy bacon crumbles that were all freshly cooked up this morning. Make sure we get all that bacon in there. And then, last but certainly not least, we got to bring the egg into the party. We got to get the egg in the party here, guys. Big fan, number 2 fan. Mrs. BPD, always good to see you. Always good to have you. So we're throwing our egg on. And we're just going to give this one last little dice up of all this egg here. And we're going to put that right on top. I'm wondering, you know what? I hate to do it that way. We're going to give one last... Just because it's always weird handling eggs. I don't like them. But because I want to make sure we're finally distributed, we're going to handle some eggs. Not often I put my bare hands on eggs, or any hands for that matter. Not even just bare hands, but even my natural hands. So we're going to try this out. That way we can evenly distribute the egg wherever we want. And this should bake up really well on top. The egg should finalize the cook. Right now, like I said, they're a soft egg, and that's okay. And it's gonna get to more of an over medium scramble, and maybe even a little crust on top when it's all said and done. And here I thought I wasn't gonna have enough egg either. No, this is gonna shake out to be probably too much egg. Like I said, it's really a soft scramble here. And we still have some cheese sauce to warm up for our final run on this breakfast pizza. We're gonna see how this all comes together, guys. I'm scared. I'm scared that it's gonna be a failure, but it just looks, we're looking really promising. I don't think it can be at this point. I think we're gonna be solid. I think we're gonna be solid. Last bits of egg. All right, we got our last bits of egg, and then one last go of cheese, guys. One last go of cheese. This is gonna be some cheesy goodness. We've got that, we got the spinach, we got the mushroom, we got that sausage gravy, we have got the Mott's cheese, we've got the Oaxaca cheese, we've got cheddar cheese, eggs and bacon, and I don't think we can have a better one going on. Looks good so far. Thank you, UPenn. I appreciate that. I hope so. I hope this all turns out wonderfully. The one last sprinkle of cheese to coat those eggs. Just a little bit to help melt into it. Why not? Why not? Last I checked, there's no such thing as too much cheese. Mo cheese. Mo cheese. All right, we're in. I love that it's 1 p.m. and you're making bomb-ass breakfast pizzas. Hey, that's why it's called brunch. Breakfast and lunch, all acceptable during the hours of 11 a.m. when we started cooking, or 11:30, all the way to 2 p.m. really. So our pizza's ready to go in. Say your prayers, everybody. Say your prayers. Okay, we're gonna see how this all works out. 'Cause this could be good, this could be bad, this could be great. No one knows, but I'm excited. So we're gonna set the timer. We're in. Bake for, we're gonna go 15 minutes to start. We're gonna go 15 minutes. Oh no, hold on. Before we do, I almost messed up the #1 thing to do here. Whew. Guys, thanks for letting me know. Thanks for catching me. Thanks for catching me. Good way to hide the spinach on those who don't like it too. I know, that's kind of what my thoughts were. We didn't even poke our crust. So when you're cooking pizza dough, they make rollers for this that have little puncture marks in them. If you do not puncture your crusts, you risk a chance of air pockets, and then it just dishevels everything we've just done. So I'm going through with a fork right now, which is of course going to pick up half the things we put down, and just kind of poke in some holes. Actually, not the worst thing in the world either. Let's try this a different way. We got skewers. So we're gonna try the skewer route instead. And we're just puncturing little holes everywhere, all throughout the crust. And that's gonna hopefully prevent any major bubbling in the crust. It'll have little pockets that can escape the air, and that will allow it to not form up like a giant mound in the middle of dough, which is really good on like a true Italian pizza. You kind of want those bubblies. They crust up in the middle of the pizza. They add a little bit of flair to them. That is not what I'm after right now. I am hoping for a very even keel cook on a very wonderful pizza that is already brilliant in its look and color and everything. So there we go. Now I feel better. Now I feel better. That could have been really, really, really bad. Actually, I am going to take a fork and still kind of hit the crust a little bit too. Just little pops to make sure, like, we rolled that crust really well. I don't need a ton of stuff here bubbling up. Whew. That could have been the catastrophe that, I mean, it was probably would have still tasted fine. Absolutely fine, but it would have looked a little wonky. And we go for both here. We go for looks and taste. Because what's the point of looking good if you can't taste good? That's what Mom always said. All right. Things just got weird. Put that back on. 15 minutes. Start. Whew. All right, guys, we got that going. We're gonna do a touch of cleanup here. Not much, but we are gonna get our space cleared up enough to where we can go through and reheat some cheese sauce for dipping in. That is apparently the handle that was lost today. So we did this cheese whiz sauce Friday night, and actually the second round turned out great. The first round got burnt. Excuse me while I break off a wonderful piece of Oaxaca cheese. By the way, you guys got to get this. This is some of the best cheese you'll ever have. It's Mexican mozzarella. It's like real mozzarella when you get it in bricks, or in, it's not super salty. Like string cheese mozzarella salty, but that's on purpose. This stuff is legitimately like a string cheese saltiness, but melts like a mozzarella would straight off of, like, you know, out of the packaging, right? Oh, that's so good. So good. We're gonna grab up a small pan here, put that on some medium heat, and in one of these nice containers here, I have got the leftover cheese whiz sauce. The question is which one and how far do I have to go for it? Are you it? What are you? You are not the cheese whiz. So many leftovers containers in here. I have so much food to eat. I think you are the cheese whiz, actually. You are. Okay. So our cheese whiz thickened up a little too much. If noise isn't made, are you really cooking? That's why I just throw pots and pans everywhere. So here's our cheese whiz sauce. I'm gonna kick us back to the cutting board camera. So we did this the other night, Friday night, and it actually turned out really good flavor. Had some cayenne peppers to it. It wasn't quite a nacho, but it was real cheese. This is made out of sharp cheddar, mozzarella, a little bit of that ooey gooey Oaxaca cheese, and it turned out fantastic. I wasn't gonna get rid of it, but we're gonna reheat it up and we're gonna thin it out a little bit to make it more of a nacho-y cheese. So we got that on some medium heat, and what we're gonna do is we are gonna plop this and some milk together to help thin it out and give us a nice ooey gooey kind of cheese sauce, because as you can see, this is almost like the thickness of a port wine cheese now that it's been chilled and sitting. You know, I got a nice firm, it's like I said, almost port wine style if you've ever had that. So we're just gonna put a little bit in here. I don't know if you want to kick us to that stovetop cam. ST is the primary first one, as far as the letters go. There we go. My wife, the producer, the mother, the babysitter, and the keeper of my idiocy. All right, so we got that going in there. And we do want to add a little bit of milk right away. And we're just going to start to push it all down and push it together. So not a ton of milk, just enough to coat the bottom of the pan, keep things from sticking, let it all integrate, and should thin it out really well. So we'll grab out a hard spatula here, and that'll allow us to kind of press things down and dice things up. And like I said, all we're looking to do here, thin it out, reheat it up, have a nice gooey cheese sauce that we can dip our pizza into. I don't know about you, I like a good cheese sauce on a breakfast pizza. So we up here in the northern states, we don't have those fancy things called a Buc-ee's. You know, the monster gas stations that exist in the South. God bless Texas, apparently. They know how to do gas stations, but we do have the next best thing, which is Buc-ee's little brother, and that is the Quick Trip. The Quick Trip is God's gift to this green earth on the northern folk side, and they do a good breakfast pizza. Now, I say a good one, it could be great, but they use cheese sauce as their base for their pizza instead of a nice biscuit gravy or a sausage gravy. For record, if you do want to buy a good sausage gravy take and bake, you can go and hit up Lots of Matzah in your freezer section. They do a really good take and bake breakfast za. Really good. And I don't know, maybe Lots of Matzah is regional. I think that's a nationwide company, but if not, I'm sorry. You're missing out on all the good stuff in life. Gosh, I'm just making messes today. But that's okay. Kitchens were meant to get messy. Just like kids were meant to destroy hopes and dreams, okay? That's a joke. I love my children. They're wonderful. They're actually in there listening and playing with Mario. Having a great time. Making tons of noise for Dad. And I think I get so spiteful about things because I'm out here cooking this wonderful food and they don't want any of it. They don't want any of it. And it's upsetting. As a father and someone who cooks some really good food that other people would kill to have, and my kids look at me and go, nah, I don't want none, Dad. Go away. Go away. So we're just stirring this up. You can see we're starting to get this broken up. It's starting to get creamier already. And that's what we want. It's almost going to be like I said, almost to the nacho cheesy kind of side of things. So when we cooked this, it was naturally a really thick sauce as far as the cheese whiz goes. So it was a little more thick than I probably wanted even for the sandwiches we had made. We did the Philly cheesesteaks that we failed miserably on. So I'm just trying to break up all these pieces. And we're just stirring it over a really nice medium heat, trying to get it all to dissolve and break up. Love Mario. Mario was the bomb. Me and my dad used to play a ton of Mario back on the old NES. It was a good time. We also played a lot of golf on the NES. And then my first game station after the NES was actually a PlayStation. And that's when I played a ton of Crash Bandicoot, Rayman, and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Those were the big hits. Those were the monster hits. So this cheese sauce, by the way, also called for cream cheese in it, which added a richness to it as well that I really liked. Very different. And once we get this done, I'm actually going to do a little taste test on this cheese just to see where the flavor went since we've added dairy to it. Dairy is naturally going to take out any bite that this cheese had, even though it is a cheese sauce. The more dairy you add, the thinner the flavors become. And that's due to your flavor receptors in your mouth and how they receive capsicum. And capsicum is the ingredient in milk or dairy products that help alleviate heat. So you can see we've got a nice texture going on. It's nice and thin. And we're just going to give a little taste test. All right, so we're going to add in a little bit of heat to that, actually. I think if we take a little bit of cayenne pepper, for my boy out there, Mr. Kobe, if you ever see this, this is that long heat. The cayenne pepper is a heat that sticks with you for a little bit. It's not super intense, as long as you don't add a ton of it. But it adds a nice depth of flavor and gives you a ride. As opposed to, like, let's just say a jalapeno. And a jalapeno is a very quick, sharp heat. Like, it hits you, but it doesn't last forever. It goes away pretty quickly as far as the burn goes. Very front of the mouth. Cayenne is kind of more a back of the throat heat. I had an Atari, the first Nintendo, the first PlayStation when games got a lot more expensive, as did consoles. Ain't that the truth? Well, I made it all the way to the Series X, so I do have the latest ones. So I'd swapped to Xbox, and I did make it all the way to the Series X. So we're there, but I say that like my Series X ever gets any love from me. It is a glorified YouTube machine for my kids, and that's about it. But you know what? It's a great YouTube machine for my kids, and hopefully they enjoy playing it at some point here too. All right, so we're good on the heat. Add a little bit more salt to this just to give it a little more sharpness. And we're just adding in, oh yeah, that heat's now in there. So that's what I love about cayenne. Cayenne pepper. You don't taste it on the front end. It doesn't settle into your flavor receptors right away. And it's after you're done, all of a sudden you start to feel that heat tingle up in the back of the throat. That's cayenne pepper, and it's so good. Because it isn't that front end heat that you get from everything else. Like a pepper or, you know, like habanero, right? You chew on it for about 30 seconds and all of a sudden your face wants to melt off. So, you know, little column A, little column B, get what you ask for on those. But this cayenne sat really well in here. And it's not even that hot. It's just a little bit of tingle in the tail end of that flavor. And just lets you know it's there. And that's what's cool about it. It's a nice, like, we did things. We did things. If that's our biggest mistake today, so help me Jesus, I'm happy. So help me Jesus, I'm happy. Because I'll tell you what, we've made some serious mistakes in this kitchen. those surprise heats can kick your butt. They can. That's why you have to be careful with cayenne. Cayenne pepper can hit you hard, and it's unforgiving. So, let's see here. Oh, that's good. That is a good flavor. That heat chase is really smooth. Like I said, not really, it's not a heavy heat. It's almost like a smoky heat, I guess is the best way to put it. It's not super crazy. Nothing too crazy going on inside that cheese sauce. But that's all prepped and ready to go. Let's just take a look at our pizza. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, God, yeah. So we're going to let that thing chill out for a little bit. It's coming together fine, guys. I'm leaving it a surprise for you all. Now we're just determining plating and how we're going to plate up. The question is, do we go fancy schmancy? I think we do. Let's go fancy schmancy on this. So we'll bust out our trays. My favorite trays are these guys right here. I love these little slate gray handle trays. In fact, let's just kick this over to that good old camera while we get everything set up. So this is our new tasting camera, by the way. That way you guys get a good look at the plate as it comes up. You can also still see me and Miss Tiff as she comes in. So we did a little, this popped up today. We did this like 35 minutes before the stream started. My dad loved heavy spice, and I didn't. I got his sausage biscuit by mistake once. Ooh, yeah, no, you will. And that's another thing, like sausage can carry some heat. It can really carry some heat. I've had some spicy sausages. They're no fun. So we're just gonna do a little quick cleanup here. I can feel the grittiness on my counter and it's driving me bonkers. So we're just gonna do a little quick wipe up here. So as this pizza's cooking up, chat, I did ask before, I'm looking for your guys' answers. Favorite take and bake pizza, okay? What is your favorite take and bake pizza out there in the world? Mine is, of course, lots of matzah. And then I would say my favorite fast food pizza, and I know I'm going to catch some hate for this, but fast food pizza, my kids are getting violent now, is Pizza Hut for sure. And it's strictly because my personal favorite on that, it's the stuffed crust. The stuffed crust does it for me. It is one of my favorite things. And I even mentioned it as we were folding up those crusts. I could have shoved some cheese in there and made my own stuffed crust breakfast pizza. And I slacked. I should have bought some cheese, string cheese sticks and just rolled them all on in. Get out of there, cheese. Get out of there, cheese. You're hanging on the wrong plate. So for me, I really enjoyed it. But that's just my personal preference. Just mine. I'd love to know what your guys' preferences are. Please feel free to let me know. So cheese sauce wise, like I said, I'm feeling fancy schmancy on this. I just don't know what I want to put it in to serve with. That's the real question here, right? Like, do you put it in a wine glass? Do we go that fancy schmancy? I kind of feel like we should. Little Caesars 3-meat trio, they closed nearby. Oh, yeah, the 3-meat trio is solid. Like I said, we do Little Caesars a ton at this house, an absolute ton. Oh, you know what? I know I've got some nice dishes somewhere around here. Oh well, things happen. Nope, those are too small. You know what? We're gonna do it. We're gonna go super fancy schmancy. Fancy schmancy breakfast pizzas with cheese sauce served in a nice wine dish. I think that's the way to go. I think that is the way to go. So let's get our fancy schmancy wine cheese sauce out here. We're just gonna hang out and let that pour on in. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That is some cheese sauce. Perfect for pizza. I wish you guys could taste all this stuff. It looks and tastes so good so far. So good. Ooh, guys. Oh, guys. Guys, it's happening. All right, we're just gonna give it a little touch here. Okay, so we're getting some firmness. we're gonna go another couple minutes. And I know you don't want to hear that, but it's important, okay? It's important we go another couple minutes. This is what's gonna make or break this thing, all right? We gotta take our time, as much as I don't want to. And we are actually gonna do this as well. We're gonna do a little dash of chipotle peppers, just for some more smokiness. And that's gonna look really cool. Because we're gonna do a little twirl with that. With this bad mamma jamma. Just spin those all in. For a nice little garnish on top, some or some smoky chili pepper. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's good. Hi! The boys are ready, man. They're smelling this pizza. They're ready to try some. Mama Bear's ready to try some. I can tell you that much. She's been starving. And we're going to put away some more stuff here. This will make cleanup a little easier for me here, too. Thank you guys for hanging out and chilling with us this morning. I really do appreciate it a ton. You guys are really phenomenal. And, you know, I know it's not always easy to do that, you know, spend your Sunday mornings with some weird bearded dude who's just cooking a good food and tantalizing you with it. I apologize in advance, but I appreciate everyone stopping in. And I guess this is a great opportunity for me to throw some shout outs out there for Bam, who is working today. That's why he's not active in the chat super hard, but we still appreciate him a ton, setting up all this good stuff. Big shout out to Becky on Blast, Matt and Becky over there. They are a phenomenal duo that have been doing really awesome things. They're creating a new game called Project Wanderers, and they actually stream from inside the game. So you don't see Becky, you see Becky the trader, who is a merchant in the game that you can go and see once the game releases. They play Star Citizen. It's a blast to watch. Super fun and interactive. 10 of 10 would recommend those streams, guys. Super, super, super fun to watch. DiGiorno, Mom buys DiGiorno SP 3-meat deep dish. Ooh. You know, they say it's delivery, but it's really DiGiorno. I'm good with DiGiorno. I have nothing bad to say about them. I think they do a solid pizza. I think that they're a little higher priced than they should be, though. That's just my opinion. I think that they could do a little better on their pricing game. But I get it. You got to make a living. They tend to be a little more high dollar. That's the way I've always seen them. A little more high dollar. But, you know, everyone's got their flavors. Everyone's got their knacks. What can I say? You know, I'm not here to judge. This is coming from a guy, you know, like I said, I love Little Caesars as much as the next guy does. That's good stuff. Very good stuff. I don't think they get the credit they deserve. Good old little Kaisers. Hello, Little Caesars. You're my favorite pizza place. Hello, Pizza Hut. You're my favorite pizza place. I've always wanted to do that, by the way. Just start calling people up and just tell them my favorite pizza place. They don't even have to be pizza. So let's see where we're at. 3 minutes. I think our crust is pretty well cooked up. I'm feeling really good about that. Yeah, I'm feeling really good about that. We're gonna give it a broil now. So we are gonna hit the broiler. Broil, high, and we are gonna go on. So you have to be cautious with your broiler. Yes, they are way too high priced, but the taste is still worth it for now. I can appreciate that. I can appreciate that. So you want to watch your broiler. I got my oven open right now. I'm keeping an eye on it as I'm still doing some cleanup here. Your broiler will take off and it will burn stuff, and it will burn it well. We learned that on the channel here not too long ago when we tried making mac and cheese. It ended up working out. It charred just enough, but it didn't burn it. And it worked out really, really, really well for that. In fact, it was the best part of the whole mac and cheese because I screwed up that cheese sauce. It got gritty and grainy on me. It was not a good time. Oh yeah. This is exactly what it needs here, guys, is a good charbroiler. It's browning up the cheese.
The crust is getting its final browning. It's already firmed up, like the pizza is already cooked. The dough's cooked, but it just doesn't, it's not browned yet. And that's what I want, is I want some good browning on it to make sure that we really get a good look on this pizza too. Oh, Jiminy Crickets Batman, this is looking so, I wish you could see inside my oven right now as it's like bubbling and popping and looking so deliciously fine. I just, yeah, 10 of 10. Guys, get yourself a good breakfast pizza out there. Like I said, lots of Matza makes a killer one. They make a killer breakfast pizza, and they do sausage gravy, which I think is the premier sauce when you're making a breakfast pizza. Sausage gravy. A friend of mine burned her pizza using the broiler. It was definitely crispy. Yeah, you have to watch it. You really do, because that broiler will get away from you, and it will do damage to whatever goodness you got. It will. I'm just gonna get this out into some normal light here. We're almost there, guys. Almost there. It's minutes, seconds. I don't even think we're into the minute territory. Like I said, we're just gonna sit with the oven door open. My wife is staring at it right now with the most eager eyes I've ever seen her have. She didn't even look at me like she looked at this pizza right now when we got married. She just staring deeply into the pizza's eyes. Oh. Yeah, you know what I got? Like, oh, hey, glad you made it. That was our wedding day. Yeah, that's how I feel right now. No, she treats me well. Oh yeah, here we go, guys. So I'm actually gonna spin this because we're getting browning good on one side, but not the other. Oh yeah, it's a secret. You can't see it yet. You can't see it yet. Why? Because it's a secret. All right, letting that side crisp up. Oven's going off. I know you are. I know you're going off, but don't go off yet. Don't be going off either, guys. We're almost there. We're on to the final plates. This is gonna be some delicious, good pizza, guys. So good. All right, it is time. It is time. Oh. Turn off that oven. Oh, everybody. We have success. Now, we haven't tasted it yet, but at least sight seen and untasted, this is a victory. So, we're gonna not screw this up, not drop pizza on the floor either. It's a beaut, Clark. It's a beaut. Let me just put this on the cutting board cam for you guys. This is some viewership you got to see. Look at that. Would you just look at it? Would you look at that? Oh, you love it when a plan comes together. Boy, howdy do ya. Let's get the... I don't even want to use a pizza cutter. I think I just want to use a knife. Yeah. Yeah, I do. So let's just make that cut. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Guys. Guys. Oh, ho, ho. Do your happy dance. This looks so good. This looks so good. We gotta get a picture of that first before I even cut up and plate it. That is some really... You guys are gonna want to check out everything on this one. All right, let's get that food camera going. This is the real McCoy right here. Let's get right up in there. Oh, that's some cheesy, gooey goodness. Cheesy, gooey goodness. All right, let's fold you back together. I don't need you leaking out. Ah. The beauty of some cheese pulling, yeah. All right, so we're gonna go crossways. We're gonna go one, yeah, we'll go onesie twosies. We'll go in thirds here. So right there, we're gonna make our cut.
And we are gonna make another cut right here for our beautiful squares. All right, now for the plating. Oh yeah. Guys, I wish you could smell this and see this goodness that's happening right now. I couldn't be more excited to take this bite. This weekend's been a wonderful success with the exception of Friday. And even Friday, we learned some valuable lessons. Like what not to do. Oh, guys. Once again, getting that fancy food camera out. And taking those final shots. You're not going to want to miss this. Make sure you get on into the Discord, get into Twitter. Make sure you guys get a view on this delectable pizza. This is really this is what it's all about, guys. That's what it's all about. Get on that plate. All right. As long as lessons are learned, it was a successful weekend. You're telling me. I did join the Discord. Radio, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, everyone else, for joining in. We got to do the taste test. So that's enough of me talking. Let's get Mama Bear on in here. Dada, that's me. I'm a dada. And you're a son. I appreciate you, handsome. All right, Mama Bear. It is your time to shine. All right. So we've got, throw up your emotes for Miss Tiff, everybody. Miss Tiff has made it to the show. She has got her wonderful goodness. We've got my son, jealous as all get out back there. So, honey, we have your sausage gravy pizza, mushrooms, eggs, bacon, cheese upon cheese upon cheese upon cheese with a wonderful cheese dipping sauce. So,
okay.
You have at it.
I think I just want to bite it.
Don't bite it. It's
Okay.
hot. It's hot. It just came out. I think I just want to bite it. That would be a grave mistake. Be a grave mistake. All right. Miss Tiff's taste of approval.
So hot.
Told you it was hot as it's gushing out steam.
Oh my god.
I got to know my God, guys. I got to know MG.
That is so good.
So good. All right, my
so
turn.
good.
I get a taste now. I did all the hard work. Mama Bear gets first bite. Daddy Bear gets the opportunity to finish her off here. So we're gonna go after the crust side here because I do want to taste some of that good crust. So not exactly the most tender pizza, but I did not want tender. Make sure we get that mushroom in there. And I'm gonna go after a little bit of that cheese sauce right away as well. You know, chef recommends. All right. One bite. Everyone knows the rules. Breakfast pizza, lumberman style. All right. Thank you all for joining us. If you can hang out, we're going to do a random raid. I don't have a mod with me today, but I'm going to set one up. So let's go make someone else's day after this bite. All right. Oh gosh, guys. I don't know if you can hear it, but my mouth is salivating so heavily. All right. Oh, that's good. The crust is firm but chewy. It's not super crunchy, which that's fine. I don't care. I'll put this up so you guys see it. The crust did get done underneath, right? So you get some nice browning. We have a nice thin crust that's going on there. It really looks good. All right, without the cheese sauce, let's just take this bite here. I'm never buying breakfast pizza again. I'm never doing it. I'm making it. In fact, if I could bottle this up and sell it, if I could repackage it, I would. I'd send it to every one of you free of charge. It'd be like a crack deal gone wild. I'll give you the first one for free because you're coming back for every single one afterwards. Oh, God. Oh. That's the good stuff. That is such the good stuff. Everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. I really can't say it enough. Thank you again. Get on those socials. You guys are all wonderful.